Hello, class. In this week's module, we're learning how biological and neurological processes influence human development and behavior. One of the key ideas is that development begins before birth. Early biological processes set the foundation for later physical, cognitive, and emotional growth. It's a lifespan, right, view. As development continues into infancy, we begin to see how biological and neurological processes are closely connected to emotional and social development. For example, infants learn who they are and how they are perceived based on how they're treated and nurtured by caregivers. This highlights how early brain development is shaped through interaction and experience. Identity, even in its earliest form, begins to develop in infancy. It reflects a person's self-definition, and it's influenced by patterns of interaction and attachment. Healthy relationships with caregivers are critical to social emotional development and support learning how to trust, have compassion, and empathy. Emotional development is an important concept in development. Emotional development focuses on a child's ability to recognize, express, and regulate emotions. While infants express universal emotions, how those emotions are expressed and regulated is also influenced by culture and adult-child interactions. Key aspects of emotional development include social referencing, temperament, self-regulation, and attachment. Attachment is especially important in understanding the relationship between brain development and emotional functioning. Attachment happens when a significant emotional bond between a child and caregiver is established. This is based on Bowlby's research. This bond plays a central role in shaping how children experience relationships and learn how to regulate emotions. As children move into early childhood, biological and neurological development continues to influence behavior, particularly in autonomy. A central developmental theme during this period is the child's increasing need for independence and control over themselves and their environment. Toddlers begin to develop important social skills such as initiating play, forming early friendships, and engaging in cooperative behaviors like sharing and taking turns. These early social experiences are important because they have a lasting impact on how individuals interact with others throughout their life. Parallel play is also worth noting. It's an important part of this development. This is where children play alongside others. This reflects both cognitive and social development as children begin to understand the presence of others. Understanding what is typical versus atypical is important when evaluating development. For example, some behaviors, such as separation anxiety, are perfectly normal during this developmental stage. In this week's reading, I'd like to note that we learn that gender identity is typically developed between ages of 18 and 30 months. This may be a good place for reflection. Reflection is going to be helpful during this course. So human growth and development gives us insight into ourselves and our clients' experiences. So a good reflection question, right? What long-term effects can gender identity have on clients? What are some stereotypes that you have felt in your life? When I think of stereotypes in this way, I often think of this idea of men shouldn't cry, women are too emotional. But this is a good place to reflect on this idea of experiential understanding of this material. Understanding these connections, it's essential for recognizing how development unfolds and how early experiences influence later outcomes. I hope you're continuing to make connections in your own developmental journey and how this knowledge applies to conceptualizing our clients' experiences and their challenges.